SIG-23, 13 December 2020. There's a bit of the news. This is from PJ Media. You'll see how all this builds. The emails purported to be Hunter Biden's on that abandoned laptop had been verified by one recipient, and they're spectacularly damning, according to Tony Bobulinski, a former business partner of Hunter Biden. A list of key domestic contacts for a joint venture involving Jim and Hunter Biden and now bankrupt CEFC China Energy Company included former Vice President Joe Biden's current running mate, Senator Kamala Harris, among other prominent Democrats, Fox News has learned. An email exclusively obtained by Fox News with the subject line Phase 1 Domestic Contacts / Projects and dated May 15, 2015, Biden's brother Jim Biden shared a list of key domestic contacts for Phase 1 target projects. The email is unrelated to the laptop or hard drive purportedly belonging to Hunter Biden, the former vice president's son. Jim Biden is Democratic nominee's brother. It looks for all the world like the whole... All right, well, this is their commentary, but they're basically using Biden. Senator Kamala Harris is specifically named in the email, along with several prominent Democrats and one Republican. The list includes Harris, Democrat, California, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, Democrat, Senator Amy Klobuchar, Minnesota, Democrat, Senator Dianne Feinstein, Democrat, Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, Democrat, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, and New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio, both Democrats, and former Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe, among others. One question comes to mind quickly: was Harris ever contacted about this, and if so, by whom? Bobulinski has confirmed that the authenticity of the laptop email related to him and claims that the cryptic reference to the big guy who would supposedly rake in $10 million from the deal with the Chinese energy company is in fact a reference to Joe Biden. Bobulinski was referring to an email that Fox News obtained last week, dated May 13, 2017, which included a discussion of remuneration packages for 6 people in a business deal with a Chinese energy firm. The email appeared to identify Biden as, quote, chair/vice chair, depending on agreement with CEFC, in an apparent reference to the now bankrupt CEFC China Energy Company. CEFC is close with the communist government, as are all successful mainland Chinese companies, and has been involved in Beijing's Belt and Roads Initiative. Does that sound familiar? By which China has sought to use its economic and manufacturing might to displace U.S. influence around the world. From Jim Treacher, December 10, so 3 days ago, 2020. This will be short. Hunter Biden, admitted drug user, abandoned one of his laptops at a repair shop less than 5 miles from his father's home. The laptop is real. The information on it is real. And the trouble that Hunter finds himself in is real. The Justice Department announced on Wednesday that it was investigating Hunter Biden for what it deemed to be tax affairs that took root several years ago, with a much broader inquiry that included possible money laundering. Hunter Biden's business dealings were always a ripe target for President Donald Trump and his allies, but they became the primary focus of their attacks after the president's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, claimed in the election's closing weeks to have obtained a copy of the younger Biden's laptop from a computer repairman in Delaware named John Paul McIsaac. So, and this last one. Top Chinese professor boasts of operatives in top of U.S. core inner circle. This is by Emily Jacobs, dated December 8, 2020. A recently recorded lecture showing a Chinese Communist Party expert explaining how Beijing had people at the top of America's core inner circle has found its way onto the internet in the United States after being censored in China. The lecture, given by Di Dongsheng, Vice Dean of the School of International Relations in Renmin University, in late November also included references to President-elect Joe Biden's son Hunter and his business dealings in the communist country. Remember, Joe Biden, while vice president, flew on Air Force Two with his son Hunter to China to make a rather sizable business deal. Speaking about what was pushing the Chinese to accelerate its reopening of their financial sectors, Di made the revelation that Beijing had a rarely discussed advantage in working with the U.S. prior to the Trump administration. We know that the Trump administration is in a trade war with us, so why can't we fix the Trump administration? Why did China and the U.S. used to be able to settle all kinds of issues between 1992 and 2016? Di asked, going on to answer the question himself. I'm going to throw something maybe a little bit explosive here. It's because we have people at the top. We have our old friends who are at the top of America's core inner circle of power and influence, the top Chinese political scientist continued. Di added during the lecture that for the past 30 years, 40 years, we've been utilizing the core power of the United States. As for the future of U.S.-China relationship, Di appeared optimistic about China's ability to thrive under an incoming President Biden. During the U.S.-China trade war, Wall Street tried to help. And I know that my friends on the U.S. side told me that they tried to help, but they couldn't do much. But now we're seeing Biden was elected. The traditional elite, the political elite, the establishment, they're very close to Wall Street. So you see that, right? He asked the audience, noting that the next administration would likely take a very different stance from that of President Trump. Di went on to suggest that Hunter Biden, whose business dealings in Ukraine and China have come under scrutiny, received help from the Chinese in his business efforts. Trump has been saying that Biden's son has some sort of global foundation. Have you noticed that? Who helped Hunter build the foundations? Got it? There are a lot of deals inside all these, Di explained. You really have to watch the video. Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe reacted to the video while appearing on Fox News Monday. There are a lot of people who, for economic reasons, don't want China to be our greatest threat. There are a lot of people who, for political reasons, don't want China to be our greatest threat in America, but the intelligence doesn't lie. China is our greatest threat, and it's not even close, the Intel boss told Tucker Carlson. No other country has a capability of essentially taking away the American dream and a specific plan to do so, and the intelligence is clear. And I'm going to end this one with this. From the Daily Wire. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, Republican of California, called for Representative Eric Swalwell, Democrat California, who sits on the House Intelligence Committee, to be removed from Congress following an explosive report this week about his connections to a suspected Chinese spy. This is only the tip of the iceberg, because remember what we're hearing. These are Chinese spies that go down to the level of a mayor. They court and help a city council member become a congressman. This congressman now gets on the Intel Committee, McCarthy told Fox News host Laura Ingraham. They are only selected for Intel Committee by the leaders of their party, meaning Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi is one of the Gang of Eight, along with myself. Did Nancy Pelosi know this had transpired when she put him on the committee? McCarthy continued. We have our Senator Dianne Feinstein, who for 2 decades, the personal assistant to hear all the private phone calls in the car and others, was a Chinese spy. Why did the Democrats pull out of the bipartisan China task force I'd set up? McCarthy continued. Why did Speaker Pelosi pull out of that? Why have they denied certain bills that would hold China accountable that have passed the Senate? Why do the Chinese focus on Silicon Valley members of Congress? Why is he still on the Intel Committee, and why is he still a member of Congress? Did Adam Schiff know as chairman of that committee that Swalwell had this problem? McCarthy noted that members of the House Intelligence Committee gets classified information that other members of Congress do not get. McCarthy also questioned why Swalwell was attacking Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe, who has repeatedly warned that China is the largest threat that the United States faces. The only person attacking him is Swalwell. McCarthy continued. Now we learn why. Why is this person still here? Remember what Swalwell said. He accused the president of everything that he did by lying to the American public and sitting on the Intel Committee. McCarthy said, not only should he be removed from the Intel, he should be removed from Congress as well. Fox News host Tucker Carlson said on Tuesday night, U.S. intelligence officials believe Fang had a sexual relationship with Eric Swalwell. We asked Eric Swalwell's office about that directly today, and his staff replied by saying they couldn't comment on whether or not Swalwell had sexual relationship with Fang because that information might be classified. Carlson continued, they did not elaborate or explain what they meant by that. Swalwell responded to the Axios report on the alleged Chinese spy by suggesting without evidence that the Trump administration was behind the story. However, Axios never said that the story was leaked to them, but rather that their story was the result of a year-long investigation. I've been a critic of the president. I've spoken out against him. I was on both committees that worked to impeach him. The timing feels like that should be looked at, Swalwell told Politico, of course. What it appears though that this person, as the story reports, was unsuccessful in whatever they were trying to do. But if intelligence officials are trying to weaponize someone's cooperation, they are essentially seeking to do what this person was not able to do, which is to try and discredit someone. Well, that's nice. That's called redirection. I'm doing this, but I'm going to blame somebody else and ignore what I'm doing, focus on whatever negative I say the other people are doing. All right. Yeah, that'll wrap this one up. 623 out.